Arc Raiders playtest has ended. It's an amazing game. We can all agree on that. But there's some more news coming, so turn the volume up. Let's talk about it. Arc Raiders just had an amazing playtest. I think that's one of the best playtests I've ever been a part of, to be honest. What a game. The suspense that you get from playing that game is unbelievable. It reminds me of being in like a top 10 situation in PUBG for the first time back in the day. It's not really much else like it. It was just so full on, and I can't wait to be able to play with other people. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my brother on or anyone else to play that game just because everyone was busy on the weekend, but I'm hooked. I'm completely into it. Embark Studios has teased through their Discord that, hey, there's a lot of news coming and it's going to be a lot sooner than we think. So what does that mean for the game? Well, the community itself is just saying, look, just give us the game now. Let's just get us the game now. I don't think it's quite there yet. There was one thing that was glaringly missing, and that was a little bit more content in the game. I think it was great for a playtest. And even if the game released, I think there'll be a lot of play to be had for most people. But I just think there wasn't much else past that end game that they really need to think about. So you got to think the longevity of the game. You don't want to just initial launch and then, come 2 months down the road, this game just becomes a graveyard. They need to make sure that things are being pushed out. So there's a lot of content there. In saying that, the tech test, the build that we had might not have been the build that they're currently working on. So this game might be really close to being launched. I'm hoping so. I'm really hoping this might come out in a game preview beta kind of way where you pay money now, you get like a founder's edition and you can play ahead of time. That's what I'm really hoping they announce. I think they've done a lot of work in the community that I think the community wants this game ASAP. The one thing that I'd say the game needs work on is the loot. There needs to be way more. There needs to be much more progression in that sense. There needs to be that real nerve-wracking, oh my god, I found something that rare that is that good. That was the one thing I thought was missing from the game, but it's not a finished game, so it's not really of note that I'm mentioning that. Tech test itself had 4 million rounds and over 17 million hours played. So what's that, over 5 days? That's incredible. This game just took off. The word of mouth on the game is so fun. So we start getting into the speculation of what this news is going to be. It's either going to be one of three things, right? It's either going to be, hey, this is the release date, this is when it's coming out. I don't think they're going to do another tech test. I think the game is so polished at this point that I do think it's quite close to launch. Especially now that Rockstar has delayed GTA till next year, and it is almost a year away. It's the end of May 2026. There is now a landing pad for games to come out. I think there was a lot of studios that didn't want to release a game a few months before GTA or a few months after. So you just had this real rigmarole of we're just going to sit put on it and then just find a great window for it to release into. Console, really, there isn't any great extraction shooters right now. Some would argue Hunt. I would say it's not quite that extraction shooter model. This is exactly what the community is wanting. You also miss games like Marathon coming out. I know there's a bit of hate with it, but I do think come console, if that's the first extraction shooter to come out where the UI works and there's a lot to do, that could garner a lot of the player base, where if Arc comes out before that and has that player base and has it set, boy howdy do they really have a lot of the market. You also skip games like Ready or Not, which is going to have a pretty decent player base, I think, just from word of mouth from the PC players. There's a few other shooters, you've got your Battlefields, you've got your Call of Duties. You probably want to give a fair bit of runway before those come out a bit later in the year. So the earlier this game comes out, and I think a lot of people are saying it's ready, or just about ready, for some sort of at least Founder Edition, or maybe some Early Access Edition. So the speculative thing is I think that's the way that this game's going to go. I think we're going to see a way for this game to come out very, very shortly. It's purely speculative on my part. Delta Force is another game they want to avoid, but I think that's a long way away. I actually think that's going to come out way later in the year. They haven't figured out console. They haven't figured out controller support and operations yet, so that's way down the line. I have a feeling. So yeah, I think that this game just needs to come out ASAP. I think that they were even surprised at how well this game took off. And it is just amazing. Like, I cannot stress to you that there are things at this game that you just can't describe with words. It's just the sound. And it completely just sucks you into the experience. And I just haven't had that with a game since, I would say, early PUBG, where there was just nothing really like it. You really get that intensity and you're just like completely locked into that game. I just walking around and being terrified of the Ark, of those little robots. and just any player, any situation. But then also just having the timing of coming around and picking off a player that just didn't expect it and just stealing all their loot and bugging out. When you get away with one in that game, you just feel like $1 million. And because, I never had that much loot in the game, you never really felt the loss of dying. And that's what I'm saying. The loot needs to get a little bit better here, just so we can get to the point of that real scared running around like, oh God, I need to bug out now because I finally got something good. And then it's players, that gets a bunch of players to come on into you, and you're just, trying to survive. So really looking forward to those matches. This is only going to get more tense. This is only going to get better with this game. I have full faith in Embark to make this really good. If they do need a couple of more months to make that happen, then hey, that's okay. But I have a feeling this game might be out sooner rather than later. At least, hey, we're going to get some news very shortly. That's definite. I would say we're going to get something in the next week. They're definitely striking while the iron's hot. The playtest went very well. I do see why they needed that second playtest, especially to make sure that consoles worked, just to make sure that everything synced together. There were one or two little problems, and that's what a playtest is there for. It's there to fix up these problems. So I think it was an unbelievable success for Embark, and I just think it's only up from here. So let's keep an eye out. Hopefully the next video that I make on this subject will be Hopefully the next video I make on this subject is this game is coming out. But we're going to get news at least within the next week that is going to be substantial. So I made a video about maybe making a video later about news. That's the general crux of this video. So that's really nothing. You guys got nothing from this. That's great. Just a bunch of speculation from someone. So yeah, that's the whole video. I know it was speculation. I know there was a lot of speculation in this one, but I just have a feeling because of their messaging, how the success that they've had, they might rush this. And I think it's able to be rushed. And there's such a window right now. I just cannot stress that if a game comes out and it is good and it comes out to console, man, is there just that gap right now for that to work. And that other games haven't been able to jump on that window, but if Embark can, then oh boy, is this game going to take off. Anyway, that's the whole video. If you did like it, hit the subscribe button as you like. Comment down below. You came for the game. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen community-wise? That's a good question to ask. I'm curious where everyone else gauges it. Do you think this is going to take a few months? Do you think playtest wasn't there? Curious to know what you think. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm going to edit this up. I just watched the double overtime hockey game between Jets and Blues and worked all day. So, yeah, I'm amped up. Jets won. I'm not even a Jets fan. It was just good to watch. Anyway, I'm out of here. Bye.